What's good? What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Urban Platform Speaks. Make sure to like, subscribe as you come into the channel and check out the content. With that being said, I'm gonna get right into the topic for the day. I recently was watching the episode of Jason Whitlock, and he was talking about the Breonna Taylor situation. And the reason why he was talking about Breonna Taylor is because recently a judgment came down, and uh, the judgment was that the officers who shot Breonna Taylor, um, that they were found like not to be at fault because they said that Breonna Taylor's that if it wasn't for the actions basically of Breonna Taylor's boyfriend, and his name is Kenneth Walker, that Breonna Taylor would not be, she would not have gotten shot. And so my thing about that right there though is like, if I don't even think that, like the police, they should not have even raided their house, because the person that they was looking for didn't even live there. Nor was the person that they was looking for wasn't even there. So so I don't get how they can make this guy, her boyfriend, hold him at fault when you know when the like I said, the warrant was what the person that they was looking for wasn't there. And so I want to react to like Jason Whitlock's comments that he made about this situation with Breonna Taylor. Jason Whitlock, I don't know, he just never seems to want to be, at least, people are entitled to their own opinion, but at least be honest about the situation, right? And so I want to react to some of the comments that, like I said, Jason Whitlock made about this situation. And with that being said, I'm gonna go to the audio and just let y'all hear, what Jason Whitlock had to say.
That are being executed in America, and it goes well beyond Jussie Smollett. It goes well beyond Bubba Wallace. It goes well beyond almost anything you can imagine. Racial hoaxes are driving much of the American narrative, much of the decision making that has gone on with law enforcement and law and order and safety in this country. And we're going to get to the bottom today, or begin a discussion today, about one of the greatest racial hoaxes that's been pulled off in recent years. And it's related to Breonna Taylor. Say her name, Breonna Taylor. People don't like talking about it. People have been, oh my God, you'll pay a terrible price in the social media world, in the matrix, and in corporate America if you go anywhere near the truth about what happened to Breonna Taylor on March 13th, 2020, or was it March 12th, 13th, 2020? I'll get the date absolutely correct here in a second. But if you go anywhere near the truth of what happened, that Kenneth Walker, her then boyfriend, got her killed. And we just had the recent ruling from the courts where the federal criminal charges were thrown out against the officers that were there that night and who shot, unfortunately, Breonna Taylor. But the murder charges, the criminal allegations, the federal criminal allegations were just thrown out by a federal judge who said the exact right thing.
Okay, let me stop it right here, right? Because I wanna address the comments that Jason Whitlock is making about like racial hoaxes, right? And because he says that racial hoaxes causes division, within the community. And so I don't know what he mean about a racial hoax, right? Because like I said, the police raided Breonna's, they raided her. They did like a midnight raid, and they raided her, their house. Number one, they didn't even know, from their own statement, that they didn't know that Kenneth Walker was even in there. And then number two, the other guy, her ex-boyfriend, Marcus Glover, right? Marcus Glover, he didn't live there. So what was their purpose of raiding her house? So so why is it a hoax? And number two, when you say racial hoaxes, as far as like this situation is concerned, white people's houses don't get raided in the middle of the night. And so I got another video coming up, and I'm going to even like police officers admit that, like, and if you look at the raid, well, I won't say white people don't get raided in the middle. Most of the time it's black people. The vast majority of the time it's black people whose houses are getting raided in the middle of the night. And even if you're a police officer and you care about the safety of your police officers, why would you do a no knock raid or any kind of raid in the middle of the night? When people are asleep, and so if somebody's come banging on your door, and even if they holler police, in certain neighborhoods, you're not even going to believe that it's the police. You might think that it's like some stick-up boys or something, just pretending to be the police. And so that's a situation. So if you care about the safety of the people that's inside the apartment or house that you're raiding, or if you care about the police, which you know what I mean, like, why would you do? That's the most dangerous time to to do a raid. Like if you looked at like when they just raided Puffy's house, you had all of those tactical units and SWAT teams and stuff in broad daylight. And so if you can do that in broad daylight where everybody can see, like if somebody looked out the window and they see all of those, all of that show of force outside, then all right. But at nighttime, you banging on people's doors and you say you only giving them the police say they only give you like about in between 5 and a few seconds to answer the door, 10 seconds to a minute to answer the door. And to me, I don't think that's fair. But he calls it a hoax when most of the time, like I said, most of those raids occur, in black people's house, but they don't care if you have kids or innocent bystanders in there. And so that's a racial hoax.
Kenneth Walker killed Breonna Taylor, not the police. He put his woman in harm's way because he's a coward, because he acted in a cowardly fashion, because he acted in a criminal fashion.
All right, so Kenneth Walker is the guy who was staying at he was there with Breonna Taylor, right? So like I said, if Kenneth Walker, if they didn't even raid that house, why, like they didn't know Kenneth Walker was in there. And so when the police admit that they didn't know that Kenneth Walker was even in the house, so that just goes to show that they are not, they wasn't on top of their job. And anytime you commit a crime, right, and somebody gets killed, and like if two people go out to commit a crime, and the police have to shoot one of the persons that's committing the crime, then the one who lives, that's who get, not the police, but the person who lives and was the criminal, they get that murder charge. I know of people who that has happened to, like they catch that murder charge. So if Kenneth Walker was at fault, he would have been charged by now. Kenneth Walker would have been he would be in jail right now. So that's how you know that that like this judgment was fake, and they was just like it's not on the up and up. But Jason Whitlock continues to promote these falsehoods and these lies. So let me get back to some more of his comments.
Fashion. That's why Breonna Taylor is dead. One of the officers, that was shot by Kenneth Walker, who set off the events that took Breonna Taylor's life. John Mattingly here in studio with me today for an incredible conversation that I'm predicting we will have. John's written a book, 12 Seconds in the Dark, that goes into great detail about what happened that day and what happened in the aftermath and all the cowardly decisions that led to putting him and his fellow officers in harm's way and made them a target. We're going to get into all of this. It's important that we understand how these racial hoaxes are being used to drive division and being used to drive decision-making that puts us all in harm's way, that makes us all less safe, that ends up empowering criminals.
So again, this is another falsehood that like how do you empower criminals when you when you looking for the truth? And I just keep going back to the fact that only poor people or minorities get their houses raided in the middle of the night, and that's the most dangerous time. Like for the police and for the people concerned, that's the most dangerous time to raid somebody's house. So, but it's okay if you're poor or you're a minority for the police to come and kick your door in at night. We had a incident a few years even before this Breonna Taylor situation we had an incident in Baltimore, right, where the police did a no-knock raid on somebody's house, and a police officer was fatally, he was fatally wounded, and the guy who shot him was he was found not guilty, because a lot of times when the police do these no-knock warrants or they do these midnight raids, a lot of times they don't follow protocol and they make mistakes, and so I think they should really just do away with these no-knock warrants or these midnight raids. If you are a burglar and you break into somebody's house in the middle of the night, like those kind of crimes carry a stiffer charge because of how vulnerable people are, like those, in the middle of the night. So if you break into somebody's house during the middle of the day, it's a difference than breaking into somebody's house like, after midnight or something like that. That's a stiffer charge. So, they can separate those two when it comes to the criminals. But when the police raid somebody's house in the middle of the night, it's justified. But let me get back to some more of the comments made by Jason Whitlock, so I can respond to
and criminal activity rather than protecting law-abiding citizens. First, before we bring John on, I want to thank First Cup Coffee. Today's episode is brought to you by First Cup Coffee, a Christian-owned Patriot coffee.
It was very chaotic. It was very quick. Instantly, I knew I was shot. Breonna Taylor, she was caught in the crossfire of those bullets. As soon as your brain's registering, it's already over. The media got so many things wrong in this case, saying we had the wrong apartment. Her name wasn't on the warrant.
But let me stop it right here. So this is the police officer, right, Reese? He's promoting his book. His name is John Mattingly, right? And this is the guy right here in the center of the screen. He was the police officer who was shot when by Kenneth Walker when they did this midnight raid. So now, with that being said, like he said that it was very chaotic, and the chaos comes from the condition that the police you know what I mean? That's the condition that they create. The police create that condition that, because they come in fast and they come in hard, and they come in loud. So they want to disorient. They want to disorient the people, the occupants of that, apartment or house that they are raiding. So you can't say that it's chaotic, and it's when you are the ones who created that condition, like it's misleading. If you say that it's chaotic, he's trying to make it seem like the guy Kenneth Walker is the person who made the situation chaotic. Breonna and Kenneth Walker, they were in their house sleep, minding their business. So how, can you complain that the situation is chaotic? But with that said, let let him finish his the promo of his book, and then I'll give my final thoughts on what I think about the situation.
She was shot and killed in her sleep in her bed. These are lies. This is not true. And all the while you're hearing all these outside influences from athletes and Oprah and Ellen DeGeneres and Kamala Harris and Joe Biden, all those people coming and attacking you, putting your name on their account saying he should be in prison. All these things that they have no idea what they're talking about, but they have such influence. The more we attack police, for doing their job, the less good qualified police you're going to have.
All right, so let me address that, right? So he said that, you know, like the media was getting it wrong and saying that she was shot in her sleep and stuff like that. The point wasn't that, you know, like Breonna Taylor was shot in her sleep. And so he's not addressing the real. Like if you go and you watch this interview, this guy and him and Jason, they're not going to address the real issues in this case. You know, it's true, she wasn't asleep when she was shot, but the police acted, you know, like what the police did wasn't professional. That, like I said, that's why the guy Kenneth Walker wasn't, you know, he wasn't convicted. He's not in prison. But you know, so but he and then he wants to bring the media in it and hold the media at fault, like they made the police out to be the villains. But you know, I think that these raids are just unnecessary. You know, like if number one, if the guy Marcus Glover was Breonna Taylor's ex-boyfriend, right? You knew that he wasn't in there. He didn't live there. So what was the purpose of raiding her house? Number two, they said that they didn't even know. The police said they didn't even know that Kenneth Walker was in there. So you wasn't on top of your job if you didn't know he was in there. And you know, I just think that that whole situation was just crazy. And you know, that's my take on it. I don't appreciate the fact that Jason Whitlock, you know, he's so always willing to make the victims, turn the victims into villains. And you know, there has never been a case where, you know, like the police was at fault. It was all, as far as Jason concerned, if you black and you you know, you get caught up in one of these type of situations, it's never the police fault. And so that's my take on it. Let me know what you think about this situation. And be sure to, you know, just leave a comment. Even if you don't agree with me, I think, you know, just take a chance, take an opportunity and go and watch Jason Whitlock's interview with this guy. Like they never really address any facts. He spent most of his interview with Jason Whitlock, and this guy's name is John Mattingly. He spent most of his interview just trying to like to paint a narrative without even addressing any of the facts in the case. So like I said, this is my take. Be sure to leave a message. And with that being said, I'll check you out on the next video. Peace.